Good morning, students. Today we are going to study lecture number 17 of module 3, that is human order, human system. So basically in this lecture we are going to study what dimensions are required for a smooth functioning of human order, for a smooth functioning of human system. So basically in this lecture we will recognize all those dimensions which are essential to achieve the goals of a system, so that a harmonious environment, a conducive environment for a fulfilling life can be ensured. So basically, to ensure a harmonious environment for a fulfilling life, a guidebook is required, and that guidebook is basically known as Constitution. Constitution. So Constitution or guidebook contains basic principles and guidelines related to human living and his participation in this existence. So definitely some guidance are required for this generation, for next generation, for a fulfilling life, living a harmonious life. So that's why it is required a book in terms of Constitution. So this book would include directives or advice on how to lead one's life and how to participate in the system. So basically this book would guide us. So this Constitution would describe how one can live a fulfilling life. So the human order or system and its underlying principle would clearly be explained in this Constitution. And once person follows these guidelines, beginning from one's own family to global family, would be an indicator of the smooth running of the system. So basically we shall now try to find out all those dimensions about individual, family, society, nature, which are needed to achieve this goal, which we must ensure while we live as a human being in the human order. So let's see what dimensions are required. So we are going to talk about education, dimension of education, health, justice, production service, exchange distribution, right utilization, preservation, and dimension of service. So basically we are going to study these 8 dimensions with brief description, and in coming lecture we will elaborate all these dimensions in detail. But in this lecture we are going to give a brief idea about all these 8 dimensions which are required to ensure a human order, a humane system, which are required for a fulfilling life. So keeping this fulfilling life in the center, we are going to study all these 8 dimensions. So let's talk about dimension of education first. So as we are talking the importance of dimension of education from UHV 1, because this dimension plays a very important role in one's life. So whatever is required to get an understanding will be the content of education. If one understands the right, there will be a natural flow of the right idea, right attitude, right behavior, right participation in the system. So that's why dimension of education plays very important role to ensure a fulfilling life, to ensure a conducive structures. So the achievement of education will be to ensure right behavior, work, participation in the whole order, keeping right feeling, understanding in the center. So if dimension of education ensure all these aspects in an individual, it means this dimension is working fine. Ultimately, what would be the outcome of the education? The outcome of education would be in the form of that a student or a person now is able to ensure right feeling, now is able to ensure right work, now is able to ensure justice with everyone. So if you understand right, then there will be a right sense and right thought. Based on this, if we can do the right behavior, do the right business, and participate in the right system, we design right technologies, holistic technologies, this will be the achievements of the dimension of education. So when we go to see this education, the person's understanding is the focus point. So basically, through this dimension of education, we are trying to imbibe right understanding, right feeling in one's. The effort to make that understanding is put in the form of dimension of education. So education plays an important role in ensuring human order. Education builds the ability, the competence for right understanding, right thought, and right behavior in every person. It enables one to behave properly with other human beings and work with mutual fulfillment with the rest of nature. And thereby, one can contribute to the human order or system. So the role of education sanskar can be well defined by each of us through proper understanding. So if we see these 8 dimensions, the dimension of education plays very important role. Because what we learn through education, what we understand through education, we spread it through various modes. If my education is right based on existential laws, based on natural laws, then we will be able to keep ourselves healthy. Then we will be able to ensure justice. Then we will be able to ensure harmonious production system. Then we can ensure exchange and distribution with the feeling of mutual fulfillment. Then we can ensure right utilization of resources. So if the education is right, then we can preserve our natural resources. And then we can think of administrative services, social services, which are actually required to ensure harmony in the system. So all these dimensions are interconnected, and education, dimension of education plays a key role in ensuring rest of the dimension. So that's why dimension of education are very important in ensuring this human order. Now let's have a brief discussion about health. So dimension of health. What is the achievement of this dimension of health? The achievement of this dimension can be seen in terms of health of the human body. So if we work on the dimension of health with right education, then the outcome will be a healthy body. So when this dimension is functioning well, people lead to life that is conducive to good health. So as we studied that human being is a coexistence of self and body, and this self and body can be seen with the process of self-investigation, with the process of self-exploration, and all the proposals given in education can help to investigate this. So if we put proper proposals, harmonious proposals in our education, then one can see the coexistence of self and body. And with the feeling of right understanding, with the feeling of Sanyam, one can ensure health of the body. So satisfaction in the self is ensured by the dimension of education, whereas health of the body is taken care of by the dimension of health. With these 2 dimensions, of education and health, every individual can live as a human being and live with fulfillment, mutual fulfillment. So once I am healthy, I can participate at the level of family, I can participate at the level of society. So for a fulfilling life, healthy body and mentally fit person is required. So health of the body and health of the mind is also required for a fulfilling life. So health of the mind can be ensured with right education, with the process of exploration, and health of the body can be ensured with the feeling of Sanyam, with the feeling of right understanding. Now we can briefly talk about justice. So when justice is ensured, trust, fearlessness are established in relationships and also in the society. So when a human being live with a healthy self and healthy body, that ensures fulfillment in relationship with other human being. It means justice is ensured. So once I understand this coexistence through education, once I understand interrelatedness with everyone, when I am able to recognize relationship with others, then with the healthy body, with the help of healthy body, I can participate in those relationships with mutual fulfillment. So justice is ensured. So justice is ensuring recognition of relationships among human beings, its fulfillment through values leading to mutual happiness. So the practice of comprehensively abiding by this is known as system of justice. Therefore, we talk about education and health first, and then we talk about justice. If both the health of the mind and the body are ensured, then we will be able to ensure justice. So justice, health and education in fact are interconnected. In fact, all these dimensions are interconnected. So with proper education, I am able to ensure my health, and with proper state of mind and health, I am able to ensure justice from family to world family order. So these dimensions are required to ensure a human order, ensure a human system. Then let's talk about production and service. So production ensures the physical facilities required for the fulfillment of our physical needs. So what is the production? So when we interact with nature, when we do labor with nature, so some physical resources are produced. This produced is production. And production is required to ensure health of the body. Production is required to ensure feeling of care. Production are required for the smooth functioning of the system. And we can also notice that there are certain activities that do not produce anything, but are concerned with protection, maintenance. For example, there are many activities that we are preparing, we are washing the clothes. So when we are washing the clothes, there is no production, but maintenance, protection is required. So repair, maintenance of such kind is not directly associated with the manufacturing of any item, but with the protection, maintenance of existing systems, existing items. Because along with manufacturing of new items, there is also a need of protection, maintenance of items that are already produced. So activities of such kind are known as service. So again, what is need of production? The need of production is to ensure health. Need of production is ensure physical facility for everyone. Need of production is required for smooth functioning of the social order, human order, and service maintenance is also required. So whatever we do to maintain those produced things, will actually come in service. If we talk about service, we can see whatever the system is, in the sense of maintaining the system, whatever is to be ensured, the program is to be planned and implemented. All those who are involved and doing these services come under administrative services. There are so many organizations which are not administrative but social, are doing the work like distributing blankets, etc. So social services are also required. That I will talk later in detail. So let's talk about exchange and distribution. So exchange dimension, we do not produce every item that we use, nor we can perform every kind of service that we need. So we can produce only some of the items. All other items are produced by others. So through exchange, all such items and services are made available to us as per our needs. That's why there is a need of dimension of exchange. Many things are required to run a life, and all those required things we cannot produce at the level of individual. Production can be done at the level of family, at the level of society. So what I produce can exchange with others. So in this manner, dimension of exchange plays a very important role to ensure this human order. Two things also required while exchanging the things: right utilization and preservation. So right utilization, whatever is being produced, we should right utilize those things. If we do not right utilize the things, then the things may not be available to rest of the people, and it may create chaos in the society. So right utilization also plays a very important role to ensure human order. So our program needs to be made to ensure right utilization in the society. People should be aware how to right utilize the resources so that it can available generation by generation. Similarly, preservation. So we need to preserve, means enrich and protect the natural resources which we utilize for production and exchange. So preservation is also another important dimension for ensuring human order. So whatever is produced, we have to right utilize it, and whatever we have to preserve it. So with right utilization and preservation, things are available to the generation, to the rest of the people. So this dimension of right utilization and preservation is also required for smooth functioning of human systems. Then we can talk about administrative services. Dimension of services, there are two concerns: administrative services and social services. So in order that the system runs smoothly, it is essential to ensure the dimensions of human order and to make sure they are working in a right direction. So this necessary function of ensuring that systems are working properly is called as administrative service. And what is social service? Despite the effort to ensure the different social dimensions, certain shortcomings may remain. Taking care of them through relationship is called social service. It means, social service means the one which is being provided to each other by society in relationships, that comes under social service. For example, distribution of blanket, distribution of food at tough time, comes under the social service, and administrative service are required for the smooth functioning of the system. So these all 8 dimensions are required for the human order. So briefly, for fulfillment of our goals and objectives, we need dimension of education, health, justice, production, service, exchange, distribution, right utilization, and preservation, and dimensions of service. Education and health take care of our physical and mental well-being. Justice take care of relationship in human interaction. Production service, exchange, right utilization, preservation ensure that our requirements of physical facilities are taken care of, along with complementing with the rest of nature. To enable these dimensions to function without failure, the dimension of service at the level of system is required. So this dimension of service works at 2 levels. Number 1, being used by the system, that is administrative service. Number 2, being provided by the society through relationship, that is social service. So all these 8 dimensions are interconnected, are interrelated, and none of the 8 dimensions we can ignore. We have to ensure all these dimensions for ensuring a fulfilling life. So if we work on these 8 dimensions, then a system for a fulfilling life can be ensured. Okay. And for running a system smoothly, as I talked earlier, a guidebook is required. There is a need to recognize all its dimensions, their functions, and what all is required to be done at the level of personal, family, society, national, international, and compilation of all these is known as constitution. So in constitution, there are underlying principles. Implementation of those principles will ensure harmony, coexistence, smooth functioning around us. So one can also recognize constitution as ethical guidelines on how to live a harmonious life in the society. So with this, we can sum up the whole lecture. So basically, we have tried to find out what is required to run a system smoothly. We talked about a guidebook, that is constitution, what should be in constitution, what compilation are required in the constitution for a smooth functioning. Then we talked about 8 dimensions, and we understand the interconnectedness of these dimensions. And it is the role of guidebook, constitution, to implement all these dimensions successfully, so that a system required for a fulfilling life can be ensured. So I hope you have understood all these dimensions and requirement of this guidebook, that is constitution. In coming lectures, we will see all these dimensions in detail. So in coming lecture, we will see the dimension of education in detail, dimension of health, justice, all these dimensions we will see in detail. So it's all about this lecture. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Let's meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much.